ศึกฟุตบอลเนเธอร์แลนด์ยิงสดดูฟรีไม่ต้องเสียเพิ่ม3 บาทที่ช่อง Sports One.
Feyenoord had won their last 6 meetings with AZ and arrived in Alkmaar on a 3-match winning run, but Troy Parrott had the chance to put them to the sword early. His finish not good enough to beat Timon Feyenoord, much to his coach Martin's frustration. The hosts had drawn their last 3 and were without a league win since the 23rd of February. That came close through Per Kortmeiner's corner. Feyenoord this time reacting angrily to being bundled over by Ernest Porku. A tussle which might well have led to the goal being ruled out had it actually gone in. AZ was 6th after a disappointing 2-2 draw in midweek against second bottom RKC. That left them 7 points behind their opponents, who began in 3rd. A victory would keep open the race for that final Champions League qualifying spot, which also includes Utrecht. And they had an enjoyable first 20 minutes, mixing up the approach but catching Feyenoord out regularly. Porku denied by this. Great challenge from David Hanske, who'd expected his keeper to come and get it. At the other end, Yurun Soot replaced the injured Rome Jaden Owusu-Adoro, making his 6th appearance for AZ, but he chose the wrong option here, playing Bruno Martins Indi into trouble. They got away with it, but wouldn't be so lucky soon after, when they conceded the advantage in even more calamitous circumstances. This time the focus was on Zico Burmeister, who almost lost the ball to Ayase Ueda first up here, before he then headed the resulting cross past his own goalkeeper. Igor Pasha with the ball in, a whole passage of play that the young midfielder would rather forget. AZ had 60% possession in the first half, a rare thing against Feyenoord, but they also had nothing to show for it. The reality is that this moment apart, they really should have done. There were moments in the second half too when things didn't quite fall their way. The luck was definitely with the visitors here, as Parrott was played in by Christian Belic. Feyenoord doing just enough, and his reactions were then swift too. While AZ were aiming for 3rd, Feyenoord still had designs on 2nd place, and they'd close to within 2 points of PSV if they held on to the lead, or extended it, as Anis Hajmusa thought he'd done, only to see the offside flag go up. Not against him, but Ueda, who'd made the initial dart forward. When that happened, Hajmusa had been offside too, but not actively involved. And there was nothing wrong with the next exchange that saw the winger put the ball in. However tight it was, the Japanese forward had gone a fraction early, but his foot was the problem. So Yudun Manskott confirmed the on-field decision. The game continued to swing one way and the other, with AZ still pressing. Victory or even a point would allow them to also keep up with FC Twente, their other closest challenger for an automatic European place. However, the continuing battle between Parrott and Feyenoord was still being won by Feyenoord's German keeper, who patrolled his area well. Like their opponents, Feyenoord also had a catch-up match in midweek, which they won 4-1 at home to Groningen. Midfielder Rami Saruki made his comeback as a sub in that after more than 2 months on the sidelines, and he set up their 3rd goal for Pasha. The Algerian was given another late run out here, but he showed he's not quite up to speed with that wild late challenge on Nex Merdink, which earned him a yellow card. Feyenoord had the ball in the net again with 10 minutes to go, but again, it didn't count. This time due to a foul by Julian Carranza, who went on to score what he thought was his 5th Eredivisie goal. Instead, the Argentine was punished for a push in the back on Martins Indi, which gave him the room he needed to finish. Not immediately though, and Walter Hulse was punished for his reaction. A protest too far and too aggressive for the referee's liking. But eventually, the official was called over to the pitch side monitor to look at these replays of the incident for himself. Robin van Persie clearly felt there was nothing wrong, and the contact hadn't been anywhere near enough, in his opinion, to knock over Martin Cindy. However, ultimately his view didn't count, and the referee shared Asad's concerns, ruling it out for a foul. So, with the game still close in stoppage time, fresh instructions arrived for court-minders to try and help Asad pull level. Whatever they were, it didn't quite work, although Jaden Adai did cause trouble late on, and almost caught Vellenreuter out with something of a disguised shot. But Feyenoord just did enough without performing particularly strongly. Their third straight win here, the first time they've done that since 2003, on a day to forget for Burmeister and AZ. They have one more game away at Heracles to try rediscover form before the Dutch Cup final against Go Ahead Eagles.
สามารถรับชมรีรันศึกฟุตบอลเนเธอร์แลนด์ได้แล้ววันนี้ผ่านทางแอปพลิเคชัน 3BB GIGATV และช่อง Sports 1